During World War II, Germany sought a racially pure ethno-state based on romantic German ideals of ethno-nationalism and blood and soil. Hitler sought to conquer new territory in order to replace the natives with ethnic Germans. The Holocaust and the Nazi drive for Lebensraum weren't motivated by profit. In fact, pursuing these aims was quite costly to the Reich and undermined Germany's war effort. No, their actions were the logical outcome of Nazism. Romantic ideas of ethno-nationalism and blood and soil had an impact on the German-speaking world, including the German and Austro-Hungarian empires. Bernard Susser observed in Political Theory in 1977 that Martin Buber, an early supporter of Theodor Herzl and the Zionist movement, echoed in his writings the romantic, Volkisch, elitist, and irrationalist currents that later fed the flood tide of National Socialism. Buber was even cited by Hans Friedrich Gunther, a prominent racial theorist in Nazi Germany. In 1933, Arthur Rupin, director of the Palestine office of the Zionist executive, traveled to Germany to meet with Gunther. When the Nazis published a pamphlet justifying the Nuremberg laws, it approvingly quoted Rupin. Rupin has been called the father of Israeli sociology. The center of Zionist activism migrated from Central Europe to the East, where the Russian Ze'ev Jabotinsky became politically active. He would lead the revisionist Zionist movement, and the revisionist Likud party leads Israel's government today. In his Letter on Autonomy from 1904, he argued that preserving national identity is possible only under conditions where racial purity is preserved, and for that we need a territory of our own in which our people will be the decisive majority. Often called a socialist, David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, appealed to labor Zionists, who led Israel from 1948 to 1977, to remove the class concept that obscures the national character of our movement. The late Ze'ev Sternhell led the political science department at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He identifies Chaim Arlazorov as one of the major leaders of the labor movement. Arlazorov strongly promoted the idea that Jewish socialism cannot be anything but national. Indeed, Arlazorov was deeply rooted in the cultural environment that produced German nationalist socialism. Nachman Sirkin, as well, had a decisive influence on the labor movement. Sirkin's view that Zionism transcends class warfare, Sternhell wrote, is a classic nationalist socialist formulation. Further, Ben-Gurion's view that the Jewish workers' concept of class is identical with the concept of political sovereignty held by political Zionism was also classic of nationalist socialism. In 2018, Sternhell observed the growing fascism in Israel was akin to early Nazism. Israeli historian Benny Morris wrote early this year about Israelis that like to cite Amalek in reference to the Palestinians and speak about uprooting the Palestinians from their land, bearing eerie similarity to how the Nazis in the beginning of World War II talked about exiling the Jews of Europe to Madagascar or somewhere else before they started in on the mass extermination. In conclusion, Morris wrote, "The dehumanization that has to take root before mass murder is already here.